Hey guys, welcome back. I guess I'll be the last person to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a good time. Stuffed your faces with all the good food, and I realize it's kind of an American, well, it is an American holiday. And many of my viewers don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but happy Thanksgiving. Last probably person to tell you that. But anyway, we have officially kicked off the Christmas season now. We're on Black Friday. And I did not go to Record Store Day. Well, I say that. It's early here. I still may go. I do want to support my local store, but the list this year for Record Store Day there was just nothing there for me at all. Well, maybe a couple things, and if they're there, I'll pick them up. If not, it just wasn't worth fighting the crowds and waiting in line and all that. So I still might go up there for a few minutes and just support the store and check out what's left. But Black Friday, Record Store Day for me this year just was pretty much a waste. So anyway, what we're here for today, obviously from the title of the video, is to kick off my Season of Giving contest. It's kind of a twofold contest. First of all, I have to say, as of this moment, I'm a couple, I think 2 or 3 subscribers away from 400. So thank you all very much. I started making videos in January. So I haven't been at this very long, and to reach nearly 400 subscribers for me I didn't think I'd ever get 400 subscribers. I didn't think anybody would care that I started making videos, other than a few people that asked me to do it. So I guess it kind of tells me you like the videos, you're enjoying the channel, and I really, really appreciate everybody who's taken the time to subscribe, comment, hit the like button, all that good stuff. So thank you so much. I could have called this the 400 subscribers contest, but it's a little bit overused, a little bit cliche. Everybody does a contest at some certain milestone, and I really don't want to do that. I like to do things randomly, so I'm calling this the Season of Giving contest. And I think once you get through some of the contest rules, which they're very few really, and find out what the surprise little twist is at the end, hopefully you'll find this to be kind of a fun contest, and encourage you guys to all participate. So welcome to the Season of Giving contest. So I've got some notes, and you're just going to have to bear with me while I read them off the screen, because I want to make sure I get this right, because the last contest I did, there was a lot of questions, so I'm trying to avoid a lot of questions, and hopefully I'll get the description 100% right this time. So first of all, the first rule is really simple. To enter, you do need to be a subscriber to my channel. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, just hit the subscribe button and you're automatically eligible to enter this contest. It's that simple. So you do have to be a subscriber. Second rule is, this time, guys, I did last time make an exception and allow comments to be entered, but I'm going to change that, and I'm going to allow only video entries this time. And there is a reason behind it. A lot of you who don't make videos have commented that you'd really like to start making videos and you think it would be fun, but you haven't quite got up the courage to do it, or you can't find the time to do it, or you're just lacking that little bit of push, a little bit of motivation to do it. Not all of you, but there have been a fair few that have said that to me. So in hopes to encourage those few to finally get over the hump and make a video, I am going to limit this contest to video entries only. So you can't comment with your entry, you do have to make a video entry. So I'm sorry for that, but that I think is kind of a nice little extra thank you for the people who take the time to actually make a video entry rather than just making a comment. It does take a lot more effort to make a video, edit it, upload it, all that stuff. It doesn't have to be fancy, it can just be you talking. So just push yourselves and make a video. And the main theme of this is very similar to what I did last year. If you've been a friend of mine on Facebook for a while, you know last year in the Facebook vinyl community, the Facebook page on the VC, I did this very similar contest, and it is basically to guess my top 10 albums of 2015. So it is just that simple. I've been making videos for almost the entire year. I've talked about a lot of albums that came out this year. I've shown you a lot of albums that came out this year. And I have dropped hints here and there about what I think could make the list, what is one of my favorite albums of the year. And I think that if you go back and view some of my older videos, you'll see that there are quite a few clues in those videos as to what could potentially make my top 10. So it basically is just that. List my top 10 videos on your own video of what you think my top 10 albums of 2015 will be. So it's just that simple. Entries, okay, let me get this right in order. I'm going to start making I'm going to tell you guys my top 50. I'm going to start doing that on December 18th. So all the video entries do need to be received before I post that video on the evening of December 18th. So you've got between now, the 27th of November, and the 18th of December to get your video up. Make sure, however, that you put a link in this video to your video response so I don't miss anybody. I don't want to miss anybody. Last contest I did end up missing one person because they sent me a link to it on Facebook, and it's just too hard to keep track of everything. So unless you've put a link into my video, this one right here, to your video response, I'm afraid I just can't promise you I'm going to remember. I'll do my best, but really make it easy on me, please, and just put a link to the video. And plus it gets more people active in knowing, and they can watch you. So I think that is really more than fair. So the first video I'm going to make is the 26 through 50 on December 18th. I unfortunately will have to miss a week because I'll be out of town for Christmas, going home to Colorado for Christmas, but then the actual winner and my top 25 albums, including the top 10 obviously, will be done on around the 31st, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, something like that. So that's when you guys can expect the winner to be announced. But you do need to get your video entered before December 18th, because I can't show you the bottom, like 26 through 50, because that eliminates all those albums. So you would really have an advantage for the people who enter early, as opposed to those who enter late. So all the entries do need to be given to me before the 18th, before I start my countdown of the top 50. So I think that's fair. All right, we talked about the links, we talked about the winners, we talked about when it has to be done. Okay, so the winners are going to be determined by how many you get correct in the top 10. That'll be the first criteria. If you get all 10 out of 10, you're probably going to win. But let's say there's going to be 2 people that guess all of them correct. If there's a tie, you will want to, in your video, list them in some kind of an order. Say, okay, here's going to be your number 1, here'll be your number 10. Put them in order, because if there is a tie, and 2 people say guess 7 correctly, the tiebreaker will be how many you get correct in the proper order. So I've kind of taken the guessing out of it here, and going to avoid any tiebreakers, I hope, because I would think that'd be nearly impossible that someone guess the exact same number and in the exact same order. So make sure you put them in some kind of an order. Do a countdown from 10 to 1. There's only 1 entry per person, so make it count. And we already talked that, there are some clues and hints in previous videos, so if you want, of course, go back and watch those videos. And let's see, album ranking for me has always been, this will be my, I think, 6th year in a row doing the top 50. I've always done it on Facebook, but this will be the first time here on YouTube. It always is full LPs, not EPs, not reissues. It has to be an album that was released, a full album that was released this year. So it can't be reissues and it can't be EPs. So it does need to be a full album, so if that's helpful for you guys. And I think that's it. I think that's it on the rules. So if I've missed something, of course, ask me questions, but I think that's it on the rules. Okay, so now the most important part, and the part you're all wondering, what do I get if I win? Well, I'm calling it the Season of Giving because this is kind of the twist. The winner is going to receive 2 things. You're going to receive your choice of any album in my top 10. I'm just going to send it to you. So it's that simple. It's exactly what I did last year. I remember that Jeremy, you won the contest last year, and you picked an album. I sent it to you, and it was out of my top 10. That's the winning prize. However, this year I'm going to do a little bit of a twist. I'm also going to allow you to pick a friend and send an album they want from my top 10 to them in your name. I will send your friend an album that they choose from my top 10 in your name as a gift from you for winning the contest. So your friend does not have to be a subscriber, but of course I've always welcomed new subscribers, so hopefully if they are chosen by you. They would be wanting to check out my channel and subscribe. But, so you win an album of your choice from my top 10, and your friend, whoever it is, can win an album from my top 10 list. And your friend can't be me. So nobody pick me as your friend, and just pick somebody else. So I think that covers all of the rules and prizes, and I hope you like it, because I did put a lot of thought into this. I bounced it off a couple people online, and they all seemed to think it was cool and unique. So there you have it. There's the Season of Giving contest. I don't want to repeat myself and ramble on, so I'll just leave it at that. But I thought what I would do today is just to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit, to start showing you some honorable mentions. I picked 15 albums just to show you very, very quickly that didn't make my top 50, because the list is complete. It is finished. And unless I have a last-minute change of heart, you know, changing a little bit on the order here and there, I'm very confident that this is going to be the list. And I put a lot of thought into it. I've been working on this now for the better part of 2 weeks, and really carefully went through album by album and scrutinized, you know, top to bottom, all 50. And these are ones that just didn't quite make it, but by no means are bad albums, because my list is 162 deep. That's how many albums I purchased this year, believe it or not. I mean, it's kind of a scary number, really. 162 weeded down to 50. So there was a lot of leftovers, honorable mentions that I'm going to show you today that it's almost painful not to include them in the top 50, because they're really, really good albums. So I'm just going to breeze through them really fast. This one probably didn't make it, and it's the number 51. And it's only because I've only heard it a couple times, and it was just a very, very recent VCLT, as I just told you in a very recent video. And it's this Magical Clouds, Are You Alone? I just didn't feel like, one, it grabbed me as much as everyone thought it might. But I really enjoyed it. And then I think it's one of those albums that might just take a little bit of time to you know, really, really settle in, because it is a serious album. It is a very emotional album, and it's something I think I need to digest a little bit more, but it's very good. And thank you again, Albert, for sending it to me. It means a lot, and I'm really enjoying it. So just missed the top 50 this year. But as you can see, from 162, it's really hard to make it. Another album that I just missed is one that, again, it's just painful not to include it. So I am happy I'm showing it here. Is the album by the Acorn, pronounced Via Loop. I'm not 100% sure I'm saying that correctly, but this is a really, really good album again, and Paper Bag Records. And gosh, I really do enjoy this record, but something has to not make it, and you know, it's just one of those that just fell short. Another album that I just recently picked up, and first listen was amazing, and I wish I had more time with it, because I think that this is an album that's going to continue to grow and grow on me. And this is the album from Destroyer, Poison Season. I liked it a lot, but not every track. It did wear a little bit thin towards the end, and you know, I just didn't feel in good conscience right to include it in my top 50, because I didn't know it that well, and it didn't grab me, you know, as a complete album the whole way through right away. But by no means a bad album. I'm enjoying it. Another album that just missed, I'm not counting them in numbers here, I've lost track already, but and it doesn't really matter because they're outside the top 50, so they're all kind of like 51, I guess you could say, is the latest album from Chelsea Wolfe, Abyss. Really good album, super dark though, really, really, really dark. And while that's good sometimes, it's not good all the times for me. And you know, I do think her last album was a little bit stronger, so I always like to see a little bit of progression from album to album. And, you know, this one maybe isn't quite up to par with some of her others, but very, very strong. If you like her, you're going to like that one. Another album from a band that I didn't know hardly anything about until 2015 is the band Fiddler. My good friend Richie introduced me to this band, and I really like this album. It's called Too, T-O-O, and comes on this cut-out, die-cut album, and the album cover itself is really, really cool. And the music is really, really cool. But it's not top 50 for me. And it is hard to make the cut when you buy a lot of music, but, you know, it's still in the top half, way above the top half. And so that tells me I really like it. Here's the next one, is an artist that I think I featured on one of my Artists You Should Know, is Gabriella Alpin. This is an English singer-songwriter from the UK, and I happen to have this one signed, which is really cool. But again, I didn't see a lot of progression from her first album in this one. It's very good, very strong, but again, I didn't see enough progression from the first to this one to include it in the top 50. So as you can see, I do try to put a lot of thought into these things. This is an album that I thought for sure would make my top 50 and maybe even kind of high, but over time I've kind of gotten weary of it, and I don't know what it is, if it's just my mood the last couple of weeks when I was really scrutinizing the list, but there's only about half these songs that are really listenable, and the other half are fantastic, and the other half are just kind of, for me, throwaway tracks. But the first half of the songs I do like are so good from Health and this Death Magic that it is hard not to include it in the top 50, but there's just enough, I hate the word filler, but there's enough songs on here that I don't relate to that it just didn't make it in the end. I'll probably regret it later on. I could say that about all these. It's like, oh, that should have been in the top 50, but, you know, it's very, very hard. I challenge anybody who buys a lot of music like I do to do this, because it's tough. Another album that I just recently got, I didn't think it was as good as their last one, but I like it a lot. But again, it's about, I don't know, maybe 5 songs that are just not quite there for me, and that's the latest album from Neon Indian. Good album, a real radical departure from their first one. Well, second one really, but their last album is what they're most well known for. But this Vegan International Night, what is it, Night School, Vegan International Night School, Vega International Night School. It's really solid and really good, but again, there's about 5 or 6 tracks on here that I kind of struggle with, and if it was a CD, I'd probably skip over. So as much as I like a lot of it, there's some of it I just don't care for. Brand new artist that I really debated about this one a lot too, and I put it on, played it one more time, and I thought, no, I'm happy with my top 50 the way it is, and I didn't bother ranking really anything past 50, but this is a brand new artist. Let's see what label they're on. They're on Rough Trade. Well, I say they, it's just a guy. The name is Soak, and this album is called Before We Forgot How to Dream. Another very deeply emotional self-portrait type album, and while it's very, very strong, there's just elements about it that just grow a little bit thin over the course of the entire album, that there wasn't enough variety on it for me. But, you know, again, I'm not being critical of anything on this list, because, again, when you're trying to cut it down from 162 and you've got 50, anything that just didn't make it is still, I consider, a very, very good album. The last album from The Dead Weather didn't make the top 50 for me. I like it. I like it a lot. The first time I heard it, I was kind of blown away even. But then after a couple more listens, it just kind of fell flat. It didn't hold up as well. I think I like their other albums better. And again, it's that progression thing. I just thought this one was maybe just a little bit too redundant. Even though that first song and first video they did is amazing for their lead single. The whole album itself isn't as good as their previous work for me. An album that, again, I wish I had more time with, but I didn't buy it soon enough to really give it a full range of listens and different moods and settings and whatnot, but that's the latest album from Villagers, Darling Arithmetic. I think I featured this also on An Artist You Should Know. And this was a recommendation from my friend, oh my gosh, I'm having a brain lapse at the minute. I'm sorry, you know who you are, you're a faithful viewer, and I just, you know, when you make these without editing too much, it's just hard to remember the name. I'll put a well, you're not on Facebook anymore, so that doesn't help me. We don't communicate like we used to. But you know who you are. You've sent me some VCLT even, so I do apologize. I can't think of your name, but you recommended this, and I think this would probably make your top 10, and it is a very good album, so thank you so much. Here's another album that I had high hopes for, and I like it a lot, but it's, again, about 50-50. About half the songs are just way too pop for me, and that is Years and Years, Communion. Really good album, but you gotta like pop music to like this one, and I do, but you know, it's hard for me to put an album that's so pop and so radio friendly and, you know, it's just I just didn't set well to put this in the top 50 because I'm so over the moon. This year was so good for new music that I just couldn't put that in my top 50. Just a couple more here. We're getting to the nitty gritty. The lead singer from Real Estate released a solo album this year, Martin Courtney, Many Moons. This is a really, really fine effort, and every bit as good as Real Estate, really. I like it a lot, and this is probably another one I'm going to regret saying, why isn't it in my top 50? And Richie, you're probably watching this and say, oh man, that's top 10 for me. And I get it. It's a really good album, especially if you like Real Estate, but it just didn't sound different enough to me than Real Estate. It's very much the same, so it's like, if you're going to do a solo album, at least make it a little bit different. That was kind of my mentality, is why I didn't put it in the top 50. Two more here. An album from Son Lux. Very, very strong album. And again, this is one, when I first put it on, it just blew me away. But I don't know why. It just didn't make the cut. You know, it's just one that I'm looking at now thinking, man, every time I play this, I really, really like it. It's just one of those years where there's a lot of good music, and something has to be outside the top 50, and hopefully when you see my list, you'll probably say, well, that should have replaced this or that and the other. Everyone has an opinion and everyone's a critic, but you know how those things go. And then finally, one that I'm very comfortable not putting in my top 50, but I was so excited for it when it came out that I wanted to at least show it, because I love the album, all their albums before this one, and this one did fall short of that for me. It just didn't hold up as well, and that is the latest album from Civil Twilight, Holy Dove. I like it a lot. It's still good. I still like the band, but this is not as good as their previous work, so didn't make it. So anyway, sorry about that for Civil Twilight fans, but hey, I do like it. I love their previous albums, so it's just hard to kind of go from love to like and expect that to make the top 50. So anyway, those are just the runners-up, just a small taste of things to come. I'll probably talk a little bit more about the top 50 as I go along, but I don't want to make these videos super long so you stay interested in the contest. So again, if you have questions about the contest, please feel free to ask. I hope I explained it well. I'll probably also leave it in the description. I'll write out the rules, or at least leave a comment to try to maybe help some of you understand it fully and eliminate some of those questions you might have. So have fun with it, make some fun videos, surprise me, try to guess my top 10 albums of 2015. The list is set, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm very content and very happy with the 2015 was a fantastic year of music. I can't wait to share the rest with you. I'm very excited. So the first video will go up on the 18th, and then we'll skip a week because of Christmas, and we'll come back the following week, and I'll announce my top 25, including the top 10, and that will help, of course, determine the winner. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this, and again, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving, didn't overspend on Black Friday, and has some money left for Christmas, and you can now enjoy the weekend with your family and your loved ones. So until I see you again, I hope everyone has a great weekend, enjoy spinning your favorite tunes, and bye for now.
We have no jingle bells or sleigh to display on Christmas Day, for there's no snow down Texas way, but we sure mean it when we say, Merry Texas Christmas, you all. Merry Texas Christmas, you all. May your days be sunny and bright.